welcome. Today is inspired by one particular beer. Sarah and I were at a brewery, not a brewery, we were at a beer bar, and we had a beer that had cocoa nibs, ancho chilies, vanilla, and cinnamon. And it was really, really good. And she's like, "This is so good." And I was like, "I can make this." And she's like, "No, you can't make it as good as this one." And I was like, "Yes, yes, you can. I totally can. I totally can make this." And she's like, "No, you can't." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna show you it's gonna be as good as the one that we had." And she's like, "All right, show me, prove it to me." So I'm proving it to her and the world that I can make it as good as this beer. This, we believe, we had to think about it, what the beer was actually called later on, and I think it was the Abraxas. This is by Perennial Ales. It is a seasonal imperial stout brewed with ancho chili peppers, cacao nibs, if you will, vanilla beans, and cinnamon sticks. Poured deeply brown with a thick head, this beer is a complex body with delicious lingering roastiness. Abraxas is brewed with unique ingredients intended to challenge and excite the palate. Again, that's by Perennial Ales. So, if this was not the beer that we had, I'm basing it off this beer. It is a 10% beer. It's about 80 IBUs. I will screenshot the recipe right now. And you can see my starting gravity is about 1.100, somewhere in that range. A little higher is ideal. The difference of this one, the cool thing I'm going to do is boil it for 3 hours. That's a 3-hour boil. Ideally, a probably 6-hour boil would be even cooler. But I don't have to worry about propane on this because I'm doing electric. I'm using my Clawhammer system, so I can go forever, really. So also the reason behind this is to promote more Maillard reactions. And what this is those who don't know, it's a chemical reaction between amino acids and reducing sugars that gives brown food its distinctive flavor. Seared steaks, pan-fried dumplings, cookies and other kinds of biscuits, breads, toasted marshmallows, and any other foods go under this reaction. And if I recall right, I think it can start at around like 140 degrees. And I think like caramelization, which is different, happens closer to like 250 degrees. If I'm wrong, comment below. I'm sure someone will correct me. That's just off the top of my head. But I want to promote that. And this long boil, I'm hoping promotes that. I want it to be rich. I want it to be thick and gummy. I want this thing to be meaty. I'm also mashing high to promote more of the alpha amylase, which is in that range. It cleaves off more random sugar chains. So I'll get left some longer ones, and the ideas tend to be left with more like dextrins that are unfermentable, leaving with a fuller bodied beer, perhaps even a little sweeter. So it won't finish down as low in the fermentation. That's the idea on paper. And I'm brewing it now. It's July. I'm brewing it because I think by October, November, it'll be perfect and better than the beer that we had. I know it. I mean, I'm sure, or at least equal. So yeah, let's get started. What I'm going to do for my water is about 110 chloride to about 80-90 sulfate. I only bought 2 gallons of distilled water, so I had to use almost half of my water from the ground. And my water's very hard here, so that sulfate's going to be a little higher than I would like. I'll probably go to closer to like 100 to like 20 or 30 on sulfates in that ratio for this. I want it to be big and soft and round. I also heard that flaked oats over about 30-40% can actually drop out of beer suspension, making it normal, I guess you could say, less cloudy, because it gets like heavier weight molecules. I just heard that recently from a Brewlosophy podcast. Scott Janish was on there talking about that. And he's done it before on his blog. He actually talked about getting like a clear beer using flaked, what was it? I was like oat flour or something. It's because it gets too heavy at a certain point. So I went for 12% flaked oats for that reason. And yeah, right now the match is showing 158. I'll probably just hold it there then for about 45 minutes and continue on. Okay, I'm a little shy. I'm at 10:53. I was going for 10:57 pre-boil. So what I'm gonna do is add some DME instead and bump it up to 10:60, 10:57, somewhere in that range. And yeah, had to be my pre-boil. So still rocking and rolling, no big deal. Well, my DME has turned to toffee. That's what I had left. It was gonna be about the right amount. I'm gonna see if I can like, I don't know. You know, screw it. I'm gonna put the whole thing in there and hopefully it dissolves over the whole course of the boil. I'm sure it will. I didn't even weigh it. Let's just see what happens.
You're being awfully cavalier with a lot of people's lives so you can play out a game.
Okay, this just hit a boil, and I'm gonna do 2 hours. Add the hop stem for the final hour for the total of 3 hours. There she goes. Yep. That's 2 hours in the books. What I'm gonna do is actually transfer this off into a different kettle, and in my 5-gallon kettle, like just like the old days, and put this on the stove and do the last hour on the stove. And I'm just gonna pump it into here. I should have about 1.5 gallons, somewhere in that range, I'm hoping. And yeah, continue the process. Yep. It is off the top of the refractometer. It's showing 40 bricks. Adding the DME may not have been the best thing to do. I just pumped it in there. Okay, so this is gonna be a lot more alcohol than I thought. I think that DME is what was the culprit. That was a terrible idea. Do not add DME like that without knowing what the amounts are, let alone a stick of toffee. For big beer, I like to give a shot of oxygen. This is one of those beers. It will need a lot of oxygen to do its thing. And in fact, I might even just do it like a shot of oxygen probably about day 1 into fermentation, and maybe even again, just to really make sure it gets going. Okay, so I have the San Diego Super Yeast. I'm glad I bought this. It can handle really high alcohol. I never used it before, actually. But I'm probably going to use pretty much this entire packet. Yeah, let's flash forward about a week from now, and I'll add all the stuff, the peppers and the cocoa nibs and all that stuff, and show you the amounts that I do, and yeah, go from there. Let's go right there right now. I don't know. Yeah, screw it. I'll put the whole thing in there and hopefully it dissolves over the whole course of the boil. I'm sure it will. I didn't even weigh it. Let's just see what happens. What was I thinking? That was so silly. If I'm making a clone, I gotta get it at least close to what I'm going for. Alright, I'll fix it. Yeah, no, this won't do. This won't do at all. Fermentation has started, which is good. What I should have done is taken a gravity reading about 15 minutes left in the boil, and then at that point I could have added DME or diluted it down as needed. In my head I was like, oh, this should be about the right amount. Don't do that. So I want to fix this. I want to get it down closer to what the target was, which is 1.000. No, 1.00. 1.100. And it's at, 1.176 was the official gravity on it. So I did some dilution calculating, half distilled water, finish the rest with the worts. That's how I'm fermenting, and it should be to the gravity that I want or close to it. But I'll have 2 gallons, which is fine because I realized I can do this in a keg now. When it's done fermenting, I'll put it into a keg, put all my like secondary stuff in a mesh bag, and put it in a keg, and then I can take it out and then just keg it right there, or carbonate it, I should say. It'll be in the keg already. The gravity's probably dropped a little bit already, I imagine. But yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens here. I did read along the line that says you can just pour it in because it's pretty well sanitized, the distilled water from the store. I mean, I probably could have boiled it and been extra safe, but there's already yeast growing in this, and it's already doing its thing, and I'm just going to leave it. So let's go now to adding the stuff and the rest of the video. Now that we're back on track. Just kegged the beer. It is done. 2 gallons, well, a little shy, 1.75 gallons in my 1.75 gallon keg. Just took a gravity reading, and I am at 1020 for whatever it's worth. Don't know 100% what the alcohol is. Adjusted, and I diluted it as you all saw, so I don't know. Well, let's say like 10%. So I just baked for 30 minutes on the little cookie sheet here, like a piece of an ancho chili. Actually, the Anaheim chili. They didn't have ancho where I went. This little piece here, and there actually is some seeds in there. I want a little kick. And I have my marbles in this mesh to weight it down. Vanilla bean I also baked for 30 minutes. Cut the middle in half, and then half a cinnamon stick. This is a 1.75 ounces of cocoa nibs. And the brand is from nuts.com. I got this, I think, for Christmas, like in a little care package. And I soaked this in mezcal for about 3 or 4 hours. Some people do weeks. Dumped it out to a different jar. All sanitized. So the amount of ancho chili, or Anaheim chili that I put in there, as you saw, I didn't really measure it. I just, from past, half jalapeno is perfect for heat for me, so I figured maybe almost half of another chili of even less heat would be work just as well. There you go. I'm gonna let it sit for about 3 or 4 days, probably around 55 degrees Fahrenheit. Taste it. If it tastes great, I'll fish out the mesh container and carbonate it and be good to go. So yeah, let's go to the tasting right now. Here we are, tasting. And there she be. I did a very low PSI on this. I think I did like 5 for the carbonation. We'll see if that was a little too low. But yeah, let's get right to it. The color pouring out was a little more brown than I would like it to be. Although in the glass, it definitely looks darker. Diluting it down by half for each of the gallon jugs definitely up the SRM lighter, that's for sure. If I just would do this again, I would obviously make sure I didn't throw that huge stupid block of DME in there without measuring. So let's see. Let's give it a smell first. Big chocolate on the nose. That's all I'm getting off the bat. It's like huge. That's really all I'm getting. It's like a chocolate bar. Perhaps too much so. We'll find out in the taste. Taste is big chocolate. That's a good, fresh Hershey bar chocolate sort of taste to it. A little bit of a nutty thing going on in there too, like an almonds or something. I'm definitely getting the vanilla too. That's coming forward. A little more in the smell, but the chocolate's dominating. It's possible the heavy flavor of the chocolate was due to also the vanilla combining to enhance that as well. Carbonation's a little low. I don't mind it for this. I mean, if I shake it around, not that much, but if I shake it around, you can kind of see it fizzing up there. But it's definitely a hair low. So I think I'll bump it up from 5 PSI to like 7. Not boozy, it's smooth. Very, very clean. Very well rounded. The only thing I'm not getting in the taste is the Anaheim chili I put in there. It was definitely there, and a touch of heat and a touch of green when I kegged it, but it's not there in the taste right now, and to the point where I couldn't even say it was in there. I like the cinnamon amount, it's good on it. It mingles nicely, it doesn't overpower, it's very balanced in there. So that's the only change I would make, and a hair more PSI and a tad less chocolate. But what a great beer, considering I completely started off not what I should have done. I salvaged it just fine, and I'm gonna bottle a couple of these and just let it sit for a while. But it's a very, very delicious beer. As I mentioned in my last video, I have merch. This is one of the shirts. In the description below, I'll put the link to shop for those. I have 6 different designs. I have girls too, and all different sizes. And before I close, I want to do something I haven't done yet because it is very, very cliche. And I don't know, like every YouTuber does it, but I've never, ever done one. So why not do one now? It's a Q&A. Send me an email with questions, and I'll answer them on a video, maybe have a couple beers with it. And it can be personal, it can be about beer, wherever you choose. Emails are going to be flashing right here. And go ahead and I'll put my email in the description below as well. Stay tuned for more videos, including the beer tasting of the home brews that people sent in to me that is coming shortly as well. All right, thanks for watching. Is this as good as the Abraxas clone?
Might be.
Yep.